I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that no disrespect him, but sometimes it's a little crazy that people talking about a small fighter like Charlo. He's big, which he is big, and then everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford.
They start hitting me like, oh, hey, that starts hyping him up. Oh, all right, well, Canelo flies, arms longer. He's strong, I'm strong, and just, to me, skills are skills, right? Canelo not the biggest, once it's
Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford got into a heated live interview ahead of their upcoming fight on September 12th. Since the bout was officially announced, tensions have been building between the two fighters, which became evident during their intense face-off. Despite exchanging wicked smiles, things quickly turned serious as they stared each other down. The live interview took place on a popular YouTube boxing channel, which brought the pair together on a call ahead of their upcoming fight. During the call, Terence Crawford was asked if he felt confident about securing a victory.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Do you think Crawford will employ the same tactics?
I hope not. I hope not because the people deserve a good fight.
What do you make of the Crawford fight next?
Huh?
How excited are you for the Crawford
I'm
fight?
excited. I'm gonna enjoy this win and then.
Of course, the former undisputed welterweight champion from Omaha, Nebraska, sounded confident and assertive as he predicted a victory for himself. Definitely, I'm going to beat him. He knows it. I've always said this about the guys who fight him. They're always scared. But I'm going to come in, do my job, and get the victory. He's a great fighter, and I respect him, but he's never faced anything like what I'm bringing to the ring. I'm coming in with a winning mentality, and I will win. He may be bigger, but he's not better.
it won't be like any other fight that he's fought recently, and it'd be a well fought fight for both of us, I believe.
Any doubt in your mind that you beat him?
Of course, I beat him. There ain't no doubt in my mind that I won't beat anybody else.
Crawford's statement was more than just bold talk. It clearly struck a nerve with Canelo Álvarez, who didn't take kindly to the remarks. Before the interviewer could even respond, Canelo cut in, visibly irritated, and fired back at Crawford for claiming to be the better fighter. Why would you say you're better than me? Which fighters have you fought? What's your boxing record like? What have you done that I haven't done? You're not better than GGG or any of the guys I've beaten, Canelo snapped, defending his legacy and challenging Crawford's claim.
Fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no make sense when you guys say right now. At the end of the day, I don't want to have to tell you.
Funnily enough, Canelo Álvarez made a reference to Jermall Charlo, whom he defeated a few years ago after Charlo moved up in weight to fight him. You'll do nothing more than what Charlo did, and I'll treat you both the same way. I'll teach you boxing and show you that weight classes exist for a reason. My hands will be the last to send you into retirement, Canelo said before abruptly ending the call. This exchange was a stark contrast to their previous interactions, where both fighters had shown mutual respect and admiration. Clearly, with the fight now officially announced, the tone between them has taken a much more intense and confrontational turn.
Crawford. But you never know. You never know in boxing. You go up and down and fight everybody out there. So possible. Why not? It's
The size difference and having to put on some weight. What challenges does Canelo pose once you guys get in there?
I don't know. I just think his punching power and his physical size is the only thing that I really uh, have to worry about. But who knows? Once we get in the ring, we don't know how I'll handle his punching power, his size. Been fighting bigger
The
guys.
announcement generated significant buzz among boxing fans, who are eagerly anticipating the thrilling encounter between these future Hall of Famers. One fan even commented, "I can't wait for this match. It finally looks like boxing wants to reward us for many months of watching trash." The clash between Terence Crawford and Saul Canelo Álvarez, scheduled for September 12th in Las Vegas, promises to be one of the most iconic matchups of the modern boxing era, with both fighters entering the ring as undisputed champions in their respective divisions.
I feel great. I feel great. I win. I have to put a great show, but to put a great show, you need both fighters. So, para the end of the day, win is a win.
Are you frustrated with Williams?
Yeah, a little bit, But
What did you say to him at the end of the fight?
I think to
Canelo will
him.
be competing in the super middleweight division, while Crawford is in the welterweight division. Although the American will move up 2 weight classes to face the Mexican, he does so only after carefully analyzing his next opponent. Canelo's recent victory over Cuban fighter William Scully by unanimous decision in Saudi Arabia was closely watched by Crawford, who studied the champion's every move. "I don't think Canelo has dropped his level. It was more about the style presented to him," Crawford said, speaking to Fight Hub TV. He pointed to Scully's defensive and mobile approach as an effective formula for neutralizing the Mexican. Over the course of the 12 rounds in Riyadh, Scully avoided direct exchanges and focused on constant movement, a strategy that diminished Alvarez's offensive effectiveness.
You just come to, you can not win a fighting like that. And he said, yeah, I'm sorry. It's my first time and I just tried to put a good fight and I'm so sorry.
What's your message to fighters who will fight you in the future? Obviously not Crawford, but with that kind of mindset, they just want to last the distance.
That's a mediocre mind. Because they come just to survive, to go to the 12th round. That's a mediocre mind. You need to put a good fight there. And
Well, I've been wanting to fight. So as if that's a legacy fight. I feel as if this is he is fighting boxing today. I feel like this fight right here is like the last of the Mohicans. We both come in an era where Floyd Mayweather was #1 pound for pound, Showtime, and HBO era, that type of era. So
Of the 152 punches thrown by Canelo, only 56 landed. Although 40 of those were to the body, a knockout was never in sight. Scully moved constantly, effectively neutralizing Canelo's power punches. "He neutralized Canelo's power punches well," Crawford said, also noting his disappointment that the Cuban fighter didn't maintain that pace throughout the fight. "He was boxing well and then he stopped." Crawford has already hinted that his strategy won't focus on seeking a knockout, but rather on dominating Canelo through tactical intelligence, speed, and constant movement. His ability to switch stances, adapt to different styles, and unsettle his opponents makes him a serious
every
threat.
time I see him, she'd come and be like, Canelo. Yeah, you know how big it is, so I'll be like, man, come on, man. So every time he see him, I just like gradually getting into like looking he's not that big, he's heavy, but he's not that big, right? And I'm just like, I'm laughing, but at the same time, it's
The American seems convinced that with discipline, lateral movement, and active defense, he can neutralize the Mexican's power. After the fight in Saudi Arabia, Crawford stepped into the ring for a face-to-face meeting with Canelo, officially marking the beginning of the promotion for their upcoming bout. The scene not only heightened fan expectations but also made it clear that Crawford is preparing with more than just physical strength. He plans to use his intellect. "I'm seeing the holes in his game, and I know how to attack him," his trainer, Brian "Bomac" McIntyre, said, emphasizing that the strategy is already in place. Despite Canelo being the favorite in the betting odds, Crawford is no ordinary opponent.
I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him, but it's boxing. It's boxing. You know, it's happening.
Did you watch the fight?
Yeah, of course. I watched the fight. He was a good dancer. Yeah.
Would you rather see him fight Haney again or Rowley again?
The American holds undisputed titles in 2 different divisions, a feat that few have achieved in the history of boxing, and he is now aiming for a 3rd title against one of the sport's biggest names. In this fight, both legacy and victory are on the line. In an interview with Sway's Universe, Canelo Álvarez expressed his openness to the bout, saying, "I'm in. Why not? Don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter, but for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight, easy money. If the money is right, I'm in, because I don't like to fight guys like Crawford. He moves a lot, and the fight is not that exciting. I saw his last fight, and he doesn't move that much now. So, if the money is right, I'm in right now. There are weight classes for a reason," Canelo added.
Cuando vine a pelear Madison y voy a volver a
Canelo, I'm sure you saw the fight with Crawford and Madrimov, and you heard Turkey Al-Sheikh say that he's thinking off possibly to face Crawford coming up to you. Is that true? Or what happened with that?
No, I don't have any offers. And look,
This statement marks a notable shift for Canelo, who had previously expressed reluctance to face Crawford, citing the lack of credit he would receive for defeating a smaller opponent. Meanwhile, Crawford has shown persistence in pursuing the matchup, willing to move up 2 weight classes to prove his dominance. Fully aware of the physical disadvantage he would face against Canelo, Crawford acknowledges that size will play a crucial role in the fight. However, he remains confident in his ability to overcome this challenge and impose his boxing style. Some analysts have expressed skepticism about Crawford's ability to compete effectively at super middleweight. This skepticism stems, in part, from his most recent fight, a points victory over Israel Madrimov at super welterweight, which lacked the dominant performance many had expected. This statement marks a notable shift for Canelo, who had previously expressed reluctance to face Crawford, citing the lack of credit he would receive for defeating a smaller opponent. Meanwhile, Crawford has shown persistence in pursuing the matchup, willing to move up 2 weight classes to prove his dominance. Fully aware of the physical disadvantage he would face against Canelo, Crawford acknowledges that size will play a crucial role in the fight. However, he remains confident in his ability to overcome this challenge and impose his boxing style. Some analysts have expressed skepticism about Crawford's ability to compete effectively at super middleweight. This skepticism stems, in part, from his most recent fight, a points victory over Israel Madrimov at super welterweight, which lacked the dominant performance many had expected.
For boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Fitz. It's real simple. Real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say it. Bench Crawford
Would be massive.
And you mentioned Floyd. Obviously, Floyd and Manny, a lot of people thought happened way after it should have happened. You guys are both in your prime right now. You guys are both 2 of the top 5 pound-for-pound fighters in boxing. This is the biggest fight in boxing right now.
Definitely, and that's what I've been seeing. You know, you got two guys, top 3, pound for pound.
Regardless of these concerns, the potential bout between Canelo and Crawford has captivated the imagination of boxing fans. The blend of power, speed, technique, and charisma from both fighters sets the stage for what could be an unforgettable spectacle. While some believe the press conference was a significant step toward making the matchup a reality, it seems destined to remain for now, just a dream. If you recall, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh was also pushing for the bout during Crawford's skirmish with Israil Madrimov last year. The Saudi royal even asked Hearn to reach out to Canelo's team to make the fight happen. However, the fight never materialized, and the conversation surrounding the potential bout has slowly died down.
Canelo versus Crawford negotiations, so-called behind the scenes. I want to talk about, one, is Crawford ready for that fight? Two, how do you see that fight playing out? And three, is this a reality?
I'll be honest, I'd be very surprised if that fight happens. I think His Excellency has been pushing that fight. It didn't seem like it was something that Canelo was really up for, to be honest. Like, when I've spoken to Canelo before about
Stuff
that
overseas, Canelo versus Crawford, negotiations, the corporate side behind the scenes. I want to talk about a few things. 1. Is Crawford ready for that fight? 2. How do you see that fight playing out? And 3. Is this even a reality? I'll be honest, I'd be very surprised if that fight happens. I think His Excellency has been pushing for that fight, but it didn't seem like it was something Canelo was really up for. To be honest, when I've spoken to Canelo before about that fight,
I'm skeptical about the fight. I will back Crawford because, again, I think that he's special.
regardless, many boxing professionals believe Crawford is no match for Canelo due to the weight difference. However, one man who disagrees with that perspective is two-weight world champion turned boxing analyst Tim Bradley. On his YouTube channel, Bradley revealed that after studying both fighters, he now believes Crawford will secure a dominant victory. Bradley, a three-time world champion who defeated Manny Pacquiao for a belt, predicts Terence Crawford will beat Canelo Álvarez despite being the smaller fighter, noting that the Mexican hasn't scored a knockout since 2021. The pair have been tipped to meet in the ring since the end of 2024, but so far, nothing has materialized. Still, there's a great deal of excitement surrounding the potential matchup between the unified super middleweight champion and the light middleweight champion.